Guys, I got my folklore cardigan in the mail today, the one I ordered in July, so I am for sure going to be wearing this cardigan for the rest of this series. That's it. Okay. Hi guys, my name is Jen and this is Beast House of Plants, where I talk about all things houseplant and home design. Welcome back. I took a little bit of an impromptu break, but we are back and we're going to finish out my series, The Houseplant Alphabet Strong. Alright, so this is a series where I introduce you to my houseplants, we talk about my experience growing them, and what conditions they are currently receiving in my home. We are almost to the end now. Today we are on V, which is the Philodendron Verrucosum. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is not one of my favorite plants. I like it a lot, and the thing that makes me kind of dislike this plant is what makes a lot of people really like it, and that is the fuzzy petioles. For some reason, fuzzy petioles kind of weird me out. I don't know why, but I grew this from a stump. It was rooted, but it was a stump, and I got my first fuzzy petiole recently, which is a great milestone for the plant, but kind of weirds me out. So yeah, okay, so the Philodendron Verrucosum. Let's start with lighting. So this one technically is sitting on the windowsill of an east-facing window. It's in this room, the plant room, but as you guys know, this east-facing window is an obstructed east-facing window, so there's really not a whole lot of natural light, and I think where this plant is positioned, it's really not getting any natural light at all, really. And I think that's pretty easy to tell when you look at this plant and you see how like half the leaves are facing this way, and that's because that's where the grow light is positioned relative to this plant. So I have a Sansi grow bulb that is plugged into or screwed into an IKEA floor lamp, and that's what is mostly giving all of my plants on this like high maintenance bench light. I'm thinking about kind of reconfiguring this setting a little bit though, because I think it's not receiving as much light as I would want, and I think that a lot of the plants in this area would really benefit from getting more light, so I think I might have to figure out a different configuration so that I can put the floor lamp a little bit closer to the bench. And if I put this plant on this shelf, it would get a lot of light, but then it wouldn't be so close to the humidifier anymore. So that's kind of one of those like balance things that I need to figure out. Speaking of humidifiers, so this is a velvety aroid, and this plant is actually quite notorious for being a humidity hog. So I currently have it next to the humidifier, so most of the time it's getting around 70% humidity, which I feel like a lot of people who talk about the care of this plant will say that that's low for this plant, but I think it's fine, and I'm gonna be honest, my humidifier is also off like half the time because I'm too lazy to refill it. So honestly, a lot of the time it is also just sitting in like ambient room humidity, which is 50% for me. But this is one of those plants that would like do extremely better if you give it high humidity. I am losing this leaf. It's sort of yellowing, and I think that's from underwatering. I am currently watering this about once a week. I think because my humidity can be considered kind of low for, you know, this plant, I do want to make sure that I keep it really well watered, and it can be a little bit more sensitive to underwatering because my humidity is so low. I feel like if your plant is in a higher humidity situation, like consistently 70 and above, it wouldn't be as sensitive to underwatering as mine currently is. I feel like this plant has a little bit of a reputation as being a huge diva, and I don't know, maybe it's because this one is just used to my growing conditions because it didn't have leaves when I got it, but I don't think it's been that huge of a diva. Like, yes, it is quite sensitive to underwatering, but I also think that just stems from the really low humidity that I give it. I think if you are better at being able to provide this plant humidity, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I also have heard that this plant doesn't like heat mats. I don't have any experience with it because it was already rooted when I got it. I didn't put it on a heat mat, and I only put propagations on heat mats in the winter time. I don't even leave heat mats on in the summertime, so I really have no idea, but that's just something that I've heard, and for you to do more research on and do more consideration of if you are buying a cutting of this plant. I've also heard that this plant is a notoriously bad shipper from a lot of sellers, that during transit it often like the leaves often become yellow and even drop off. So also something else to consider about this plant. It might be beneficial just to buy it rooted if you are considering it. This is a plant that I really want to transfer into LECA. I'm a little bit scared to transfer it into LECA just because, you know, like, if it's a bad shipper and it doesn't really like heat mats, I think that this will be a plant that will take the transition from soil to LECA, you know, not very well. But I really want to transfer into LECA because both my Milano and my Milano Cross Verrucosum, my Philodendron Splendid, they're doing so well in LECA, and I feel like once it becomes established in LECA, I'm fuss less over a plant, and this is something that I am definitely kind of fussing a little bit over just because it is in soil right now. I actually have this plant currently top dressed in LECA, not for any functional reason really. I ran out of pre-mixed soil and I didn't want to mix up a new batch of soil when I was potting this up. And so I decided to top dress it with LECA because I had cleaned LECA. If you have a fungus gnat issue, might be something for you to consider actually, because basically top dressing in LECA would do the opposite of what top dressing in sphagnum moss does, is that it would make the top layer of the plant dry out very quickly, as opposed to top dressing in sphagnum moss, which would allow the plant to keep its humidity and its moisture a little bit longer. So yeah, something to consider. For propagation, this plant will propagate like most aroids. You cut in between two nodes. The internodal spacing in this one, I don't know for you, but for me, the internodal spacing in between each is quite long, so it'll be easy to cut, and you can just put it in either sphagnum moss. I've seen people do LECA. You can even just put it in soil, even though you probably won't, just because, you know, it's a little bit more of a pricey plant, so you probably want to choose a medium where it's easier for you to pull it out to check the roots. So I would recommend either sphagnum moss or perlite sphagnum moss always being my favorite for any medium. That's a car. Alright, well, I'm going to take that sound as my sign to sign off. So I think that's all I had to tell you about this plant. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments down below. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!